Mic check, 1, 2, hello. Can you hear me now? I'm still here. Hi, I'm John here with Lookout Brewing Company. Today I'm going to talk about Cloudbreaker. Cloudbreaker is it's a New England IPA that we've been making for a few years now. This beer is very near and dear to me because this is one of the early New Englands whenever I was first learning about hazy IPAs and getting more juice flavors into our beers. This was definitely a big learning curve for me. We've been making this now for about 4 years, I'd say, and we've made some changes to it over time. In the past, we were making it with some European malts and with these big malteries from all over the place, and now we're using local malt in it. We're using Riverbend malt. So that's malted here in Asheville. Approximately 95% of this recipe utilizes local malt. So that's definitely a huge advantage that we're trying to push in all of our beers across the market, across the board, I should say. But yeah, this one in particular has taken a little time for us to dial it back in because we have some new profiles in some of these malts. Some of the things that haven't changed though are the hops, and that's really the star of the show anyway with a New England IPA. We're really here to get those juicy flavors, get those fruit forward flavors. What does it mean for a beer to have these juicy flavors? How do we get those? What type of ingredients go around that to make it all happen? So what we do in this recipe is we use a lot of oats and a lot of wheat to help us continue that haze for a long period of time while it's in cans and kegs and all that sort of thing. So we're using Hull and Oats and we're using Appalachian wheat, both from Riverbend Malt House. They're fantastic. Hull and Oats gives us a nice hearty flavor, and this beer comes out pretty light, comes across pretty light, but you still have this substance behind it. So it's kind of a hard thing to really describe. You kind of just have to taste it, but because it fills your entire mouth with all this flavor, with so many different things going on, and it coats your entire mouth. But then it finishes out kind of dry, kind of finishes out like a lighter product than it is. So it's a very intriguing beer to drink. And I do like that this batch here in particular maintains the same bitterness that we were after with a lot of, that's lacking in a lot of other New England IPAs. I feel like so many in the industry kind of lose sight of the fact that an IPA is still an India Pale Ale and it should have some bitterness to it. And try and say like, oh, well, this shouldn't have any bitterness. I don't really believe in that. Maybe I would call it something else. I wouldn't maybe call it an IPA, but these are New England IPAs, so we do have a little bitterness to them. And I do prefer that personally. As far as the fruit goes though, and as far as the smells and flavors that these hops are bringing to the table, it's hard to describe without saying the same cliched things of like these stone fruit flavors and these tropical fruits that you hear so much of, but it is just so apparent and so obvious right away that it's almost juicy. Is that the only way you could really describe that smell? So we use Idaho 7, and we use El Dorado, and we use Mosaic. All three of these are very popular in today's juicy and hazy IPAs, and there's no doubt that they are the star of this show for sure. We did what, 2 different dry hops on this beer, I believe. Yeah, we have 2 different dry hops, both of which are roughly about 3 pounds per barrel is about how much we're putting in there. So there's quite a bit of hops in this batch of beer, and it shows, and it is fantastic. We're going to be releasing it today at the brewery. It'll be available for the next, I'd say the next 5 or 6 weeks. We should have some on tap. So come down and try some. Come down and grab you a 4-pack. We have it canned. We're using these beautiful logos here, these beautiful cans that we have. This is one of the coolest things we've ever done in the brewery. It's canning our beer. I love it. And some amazing artwork. And so definitely come by and check it out. Curren's Cloudbreaker on tap at Lookout Brewing. Thanks so much. Cheers.